This is where most of us now live and work, up, stacked in high-rises. Every year we build higher, placing a larger percentage of the population further from the street. But the ground-based infrastructure meant to protect those people stopped growing a long time ago. A fire department's longest ladder extends roughly 100 feet. In a modern high-rise, that touches the 6th or maybe the 7th floor. This chart shows the physical limit of that ground equipment. It plots a standard 60-story tower against a rigid horizontal boundary at the 7th floor. We call this the reach line. Everything above that line is a place the ground cannot touch. The building went up, our reach did not. That disconnect leaves millions of people residing in a massive, permanent zone where traditional exterior rescue is a physical impossibility. For a fire above that line, crews have to climb. Imagine climbing 40 flights of stairs. Now imagine doing it carrying heavy gear, wearing a thick turnout coat, and breathing through an oxygen tank strapped to your back. This is why dispatchers call extra alarms for a high-rise fire. They aren't sending multiple million-dollar ladder trucks to spray more water. They are sending them to stack at the curb, simply to have enough fresh bodies to rotate out the crews who collapse from exhaustion in the stairwells. A modern fire burns extremely fast. If human crews burn their most critical energy and time just getting to the starting line, the fire gets a lead that muscle and grit alone cannot close. The first major crisis plays out on the exterior. While crews slowly make their way up the interior stairs, a fire on the 40th floor can burn unchecked on the outside of the building. The immediate solution exists today. Small, fast-deploying drones equipped with thermal cameras get in the air before the first human crew even clears the lobby. They see through the smoke, locate the heat signature of the fire, and map exactly which rooms still hold trapped occupants. Once the target is found, heavier passenger-class aircraft can move in. These craft can carry roughly 150 liters of foam and attack the fire through the window from the outside. Because they can be tethered to a power line from the street, they can hold their position and rotate indefinitely. They do not get tired. By putting a fleet in the air, the exterior wall goes from being a completely unreachable hazard to a permanent, controlled staging ground for fighting the fire. Inside the building, the killer is not usually the flame. It is the stack effect. This is a physical dynamic where heat drives toxic smoke straight up through the building's elevator shafts and service chases. The standard protocol is to tell people to shelter in place and wait for help. But in a fast-moving fire, staying put becomes a fatal choice. And forcing thousands of people down narrow stairwells takes hours. A delay history has already shown us in incidents like the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. Vertical distance is measured in minutes, and a building full of smoke does not have many to spare. Here, heavy lift drones bypass the blocked arteries of the building. Carrying up to 30 kilos, they winch supplies straight to the windows. Fresh air cylinders so firefighters can keep working, trauma kits, and communication relays to give trapped occupants direct evacuation instructions when the interior radios fail. The drone does not pull the person out of the building. It delivers the exact, irreplaceable minutes they need to survive until human hands can reach them. The ultimate nightmare scenario is a total cutoff. Occupants trapped completely above the fire, the stairwells choked with smoke, and a ground ladder that is a dozen floors too short to help. We know exactly what this looks like. In 2017, exterior cladding on London's Grenfell Tower carried fire up the outside of the building faster than any crew could climb in. Dozens of victims were trapped above the reach line for hours. We have to be honest about what technology can actually do here. You will see companies pitch autonomous passenger drones designed to pluck a human off a burning balcony. Those are unproven prototypes. Their safety margins and battery capacities are not ready for a live rescue, and banking on them today is a mistake. We do not need science fiction. The hardware that is already proven, the ability to see the heat, suppress the exterior flame, supply the victims, and communicate clearly, gives someone on the 40th floor a chance that current ground tactics simply cannot provide. The aircraft work. The physics of flight are no longer the barrier. The reason they aren't deployed comes down to 3 specific man-made frictions: rules, airspace, and budget. To address the first 2, Cities need pre-cleared emergency flight corridors so rescue craft don't have to wait on paperwork during a crisis. And operators need routine certification for beyond visual line of sight flights, meaning the legal permission to fly a drone into a hazardous zone where the pilot cannot physically see the craft from the ground. Then there is the money. This split bar chart compares the upfront hardware costs. On the left, a single traditional aerial ladder truck runs over $1.5 million. On the right, a firefighting drone lists closer to $410,000. Even with training, you field a small fleet for the price of one truck. But doing nothing costs more. Every unchecked fire and extra alarm breaks down human crews. When you look at the entire ledger, the most expensive and inefficient option is simply keeping the system we currently have. The momentum for this infrastructure is being forced by a deadline. Los Angeles is rapidly building out vertiports, charging stations, and commercial air taxi routes to prepare for the 2028 Olympic Games. That heavy, commercial infrastructure is being built to move spectators, but it is the exact same foundation required to support, charge, and launch a municipal emergency rescue fleet. The commercial market is paying to pave the sky. These fleets are tools, not magic guarantees. They have physical limits. Extreme winds and zero visibility storms will ground them, meaning there are days where the window to fly remains firmly shut. But on the days they can fly, the technology to close the reach gap is real and it is ready today. Every barrier standing in the way is one we put there. The only remaining question is how long we will make the people trapped above the line wait for us to move them.